Hurricane Lee continues to churn northward on a path that is likely to threaten the New England coast this weekend. It weakened to a Category 1 storm on Thursday. Watches and warnings remain in place for coastal areas of Massachusetts and Maine. Lee's effects were already being felt along the southeastern U.S. coastline, and forecasters said Lee would make its presence felt on beaches in the western Atlantic all week, with dangerous surf and rip current conditions. Lee rapidly intensified over the very warm waters of the Atlantic Ocean late last week and strengthened into a strong Category 5 hurricane before wind speeds began to drop. Where is Hurricane Lee headed? The center of the storm was approximately 460 miles south-southeast of Nantucket, Massachusetts. According to the Hurricane Center, Lee was heading north at 16 miles per hour. The center of Lee will approach the coasts of New England and Atlantic Canada today and Saturday. Lee is then expected to turn toward north-northeast-northeast, and will move toward the Atlantic on Saturday night Sunday. Hurricane Center predicted early Friday. Move towards Canada. Lee is expected become post-tropical begin to weaken by Saturday, but is still expected be a large and dangerous storm by the time it reaches eastern New England. Atlantic Canada. A tornado watch is in effect from Petit Manan Point in Maine to the U.S. Canadian border and into Canada. Tropical storm warning issued for Bermuda, north from Westport, Massachusetts to the U.S. Canada border. Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. Where will Hurricane Lee land? CBS Boston reported Thursday that landfall was expected in the Bay of Fundy area, far eastern Maine. Late Saturday night, forecast confidence regarding the final track and impacts of Hurricane Lee has increased greatly today, the station said. Ahead of Lee's arrival, President Biden late Thursday issued an emergency declaration for the state of Maine that would free up federal emergency management agency resources to coordinate all disaster relief efforts. Will Hurricane Lee hit Massachusetts? Lee is expected to move towards Massachusetts coast before making landfall in state, but coastal areas will feel effects of storm. If you live in Cape, Massachusetts or Maine, watch Lee closely as we head into the weekend because you're in the cone right now. Weather Channel meteorologist Stephane Abrams said Tuesday on CBS Mornings. The exact location of storm and level of impacts we see across U.S. will be determined in part by high pressure to east and a trough to west, he said. If Lee moves further west, we could experience stronger winds, heavier rain, larger waves and coastal flooding. If it moves further east, the impacts will be less intense. CBS Boston reports that first bands of rain may appear on the Islands Cape Cod around sunset on Friday. Steadiest heaviest rain will likely remain over Cape Cod Peak Saturday morning. Coastal areas may also experience waves of 3 to 20 meters.